The OnePlus 8 Pro is OnePlus's best phone ever, boasting a modern, interesting design, an improved camera, and more. The device is also relatively expensive, coming in at a hefty $900 for the base model, and more for upgraded models. At that price, the device is on par with other flagship phones out there, including the iPhone 11 Pro, which is Apple's $1,000 flagship device. But which phone is actually better? If you're not firmly set in the Android or iOS camp, should you go for one device over the other? I put the OnePlus 8 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro head to head to find out. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps support my work and I would appreciate that support. The overall design between the OnePlus 8 Pro and iPhone 11 Pro is pretty different, and they both have their advantages. On the front of the OnePlus 8 Pro, you'll get a relatively large 6.78-inch display, with an edge-to-edge design and a small hole punch cutout in the top left of the display for the front-facing camera. The edges of the OnePlus display are curved, and while it's generally a nice look, OnePlus's palm detection isn't amazing, and I did find myself triggering the software without meaning to. The front of the iPhone 11 Pro is pretty drastically different. The iPhone does not have curved edges, which might make it better for some users. But in place of the hole punch cutout, there's that famous Apple notch. Now, obviously the notch doesn't look great, and I'm really hoping that Apple gets rid of it in the near future. That said, the notch houses Apple's Face ID, which works really well. And after using the phone for a while, you will get used to the notch. The back of the two phones is also relatively different. Apple has gone for a nice looking frosted glass look for the iPhone 11 Pro, and no matter which color you go for, it looks great. On the top left of the back of the phone, you'll get a square camera bump with Apple's triple lens camera. On the back of the OnePlus device, you'll also get a sleek and stylish look, with a vertically aligned camera bump. Both of the camera bumps on these two devices are relatively large, but the bump on the OnePlus 8 Pro is much thicker than that on the iPhone. The result is that it wobbles a lot more on the desk, which is a little frustrating, and makes the device harder to use when it's on a table. The iPhone isn't perfect, but the camera bump is smaller. With an iPhone 11 Pro case, the camera bump is leveled out and the device works fine on a desk. But with OnePlus's case for the 8 Pro, there's still a little lip. That means that the device isn't flat on a desk. On the sides of the OnePlus 8 Pro, you'll get a volume rocker, a USB-C port, a power button, and a ringer switch. The iPhone 11 Pro has the same features, except there's obviously a lightning port instead of a USB-C port, and the ringer switch is horizontally aligned instead of vertical. I prefer the OnePlus ringer switch, but it's not a huge deal. Both of these phones feel great in the hand, but the iPhone is smaller, and as a result, it feels a bit more balanced. That said, they're both made from premium materials, and they feel like it in the hand. The displays on the phones are a little different, but both are good. The iPhone 11 Pro has a 5.8-inch display with an 1125 by 2436 resolution and a 60Hz refresh rate. It's an OLED display, which ensures that the device offers deep black levels, plus it helps conserve battery. The OnePlus 8 Pro steps things up a little. You'll get a 6.78-inch OLED display with a 1440p resolution and a 120Hz refresh rate. The result is an ultra smooth look with buttery animations, and I would argue that the OnePlus 8 Pro has one of the best phone displays out there. Some users have reported issues with the display, like a green tint, but I didn't run into any issues like that. Then there are the speakers, and both the OnePlus 8 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro offer decent sounding speakers. That said, the speakers on the OnePlus 8 Pro can get a little louder than those on the iPhone 11 Pro. However, the speakers on the iPhone 11 Pro seem to offer slightly more detail in the high end. Here's a quick comparison of the speakers on these two phones. Note that the audio quality will be different considering my room, my microphone, and the speakers or headphones that you're using to listen on, but at least you might be able to get an idea of the difference between the two phones' speakers. Then there's the performance between the devices, and it's more similar than some might think. The OnePlus 8 Pro is one of the best performing Android phones out there, thanks to the Snapdragon 865 processor and either 8GB or 12GB of RAM. But Apple has offered some of the best mobile processors out there in its A series, and with an A13 Bionic, the iPhone 11 Pro is a seriously good performer. In day-to-day use, both of these phones perform excellently, with apps opening quickly and multitasking working seamlessly. Both of these phones are also excellent choices for for mobile gamers, and I found that gaming on both devices was a great experience. Both phones also performed well in benchmarks too. The OnePlus 8 Pro beat out the iPhone 11 Pro in Antutu. However, the iPhone beat the OnePlus device in Geekbench 5, especially in its single-core score, which continues to dominate over every other phone on the market. Apple has seriously stepped things up for the battery life in the iPhone 11 Pro, and the device will easily get you through a full day of use and even more. So will the OnePlus 8 Pro, and in fact, the OnePlus 8 Pro may even offer a slightly longer battery life, depending on how you use it. In my battery test, which involves streaming a 1080p YouTube video for 3 hours over Wi-Fi, the iPhone 11 Pro ended the test with 71% of its battery left, while the OnePlus 8 Pro ended with 73%. Safe to say, the battery life is very similar, and both are more than good. They're both versatile when it comes to charging too. Both phones offer wireless charging, and the OnePlus 8 Pro supports OnePlus's Warp wireless charge, though you have to use a OnePlus wireless charger to take advantage of it. And you'll get fast charging tech on both of them too, though the 30-watt fast charging on the OnePlus 8 Pro will likely charge it faster than the 18-watt fast charging tech in the iPhone 11 Pro. The cameras are a little different between these two phones. The OnePlus 8 Pro offers a quad lens camera with a 48-megapixel main sensor, an 8-megapixel telephoto sensor, a 48-megapixel ultra-wide sensor, and a 5-megapixel depth sensor. The iPhone 11 Pro has 3 camera lenses, including one 12-megapixel main sensor, one 12-megapixel telephoto sensor, and one 12-megapixel ultra-wide sensor. In good lighting, both phones are able to deliver good photos. Considering they both have a telephoto and an ultra-wide sensor, both phones are very versatile, able to take good photos in a variety of situations. Generally speaking, thanks to Apple's serious camera improvements, the iPhone 11 Pro was able to capture more detail than the OnePlus 8 Pro. The iPhone is also able to take much better photos in low light. OnePlus's night mode has gotten better, but it's still not up to the same quality as the iPhone 11 Pro or Google Pixel devices. Hopefully OnePlus will continue working on this feature over time. The iPhone is a little more consistent with video too. For most users, both cameras will perform great, but for more consistency, better night mode, and slightly more natural colors, the iPhone 11 Pro is the way to go. Next up is software. I'm not going to get into the Android versus iOS debate here though. The basic gist of things is that Android allows for more customizations, while iOS seems to be a little easier to use and has deeper integration with other Apple products. When it comes to Android skins, the OnePlus 8 Pro offers OnePlus's Oxygen OS, which is stripped back and very easy to use. That said, iOS devices generally get updates for longer, so if you want a phone that will still get updates in 3 or 4 years, the iPhone is the way to go. Both of these phones offer a few special features that are worth considering. The iPhone, as mentioned, has Face ID, which works quickly and is very easy to use. The OnePlus 8 Pro, on the other hand, has an in-display fingerprint sensor, which is also pretty good, and while it does sometimes fail, it works quickly and accurately the majority of the time. The OnePlus 8 Pro has another feature: support for 5G. While 5G is still rolling out, if you want to be able to use it in your area, you'll need the OnePlus device. It's important to note that the OnePlus 8 Pro only supports low-band 5G, not the millimeter wave 5G that will get you the ultra-fast speeds. So which phone is better? Well, they're both excellent devices, and it's hard to award a true winner. The iPhone offers a better camera and will get updates for longer, plus its integration with the rest of Apple's ecosystem makes it a great choice for those that use other Apple devices. That said, the OnePlus 8 Pro has a better display considering the higher refresh rate and higher resolution. If you're really on the fence between the two phones and want something that will last for years to come, it's probably worth going for the iPhone, especially if you're in Apple's ecosystem. But if you want an amazing Android experience that offers more customization features, then the OnePlus 8 Pro is the way to go. Thanks so much for watching this video, and again, please subscribe to this channel if it was helpful to you. You can check out the description for links to buy these phones. My name is Christian, and I'll see you next time. See ya.